All right, we are live. Welcome in, everybody. Presented as always by Ball is Life. This is all things NBA from A to Z. I'm Chris Persianen, joined by the full house, the full crew, Albert Nguyen, Zach Noble, and we have a special guest coming. We got SiriusXM NBA Radio's Andrew Chelney ready to join us in just a couple seconds here. But before we're joined by today's special guest, just want to set the tape, do a little point guarding for today's show. We had some gigantic trades go down. And for me, I'm almost excited that none of them have to do with Giannis because it tells me that we are not looking at a blockade. We are not looking at a dam on the NBA trade deadline. It's not all these teams sitting around waiting for Giannis Antetokounmpo to be dealt before they do anything. We got some motion. We got some action. So we are going to be unleashed here today, giving our takes, our thoughts, and the opinions of we got an interesting crew here. We got Al, Dallas Mavericks extraordinaire connoisseur, who knows a thing or two about superstar trades. We have Zach, who is in Minnesota right now, praying. He's actually, you guys can't see, the camera's too zoomed in, but he's doing the show on his knees, praying for Giannis Antetokounmpo to come.
I did go to church this morning.
It's Tuesday. And then you've got me here. I report on the New York Knicks. So we got an interesting slew of perspectives to come your way. But joining us now on top of our interesting panel of guests here, we have Andrew Chelney of SiriusXM NBA Radio. Welcome to the program. Oh,
what's up, man?
There goes my phone.
Slow down.
Welcome to the program. We are here to discuss everything. So, guys, we've got to start big. And that's what the Utah Jazz are doing. They're going to be starting every game pretty much, I think, as big as they can get with Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr., and when he's healthy again, Walker Kessler. They seem to be bought in to this being their three-man front court trio. Zach, I want to start with you. Just what was your initial reaction to the Jaren Jackson Jr. deal? Because after I dropped my phone for clearly the first of many times today and was able to read the full details, I was stunned at that deal.
Yeah, I was pretty stunned as well because I was just too focused on Ja Morant going somewhere. Honestly, I like 2 weeks ago, I knew it could happen with Jaren Jackson, but like is one player I haven't been thinking about being traded, and he's a guy like every team should want, in my opinion, other than his injury concerns. Yeah, that they're big, they're massive. But I love Jaren. I think he can fit with most players on most teams, and I think it was a steal by the Jazz. Like, I think they're a team that, I mean, why not? You know, Danny Ainge knows how to mix it up, and I think he fits perfectly with Lauri, Keontae George. Now they just need one more piece. They need a 2-guard or 3, depending if Ace Bailey's the guy. That's the big question, but I think they're actually doing something.
Yeah, again, talking about, big lineup, big question, big trade. Ace Bailey, this is a super interesting footnote here. Al, I think maybe they just are ready to roll. And Ace is going to be this guy who comes off the bench for them and spaces the floor and this and that. But to me personally, I see this as they came into the season and they had a little bit of not a mandate, but they had a notion from team governorship that, hey, we've been terrible for years since resetting the Donovan and Rudy era. We've been awful every year. How many good players do we have to show for this? We have encouraging seasons from Walker Kessler. That's one good player. We have an encouraging season from Kyle Filipowski. So that's potential for 2 good players. And at the time, last offseason, that was kind of it for the Utah Jazz. So if I'm their team governorship, I'm not looking sideways at the front office, but I am thinking to myself, how many years of tanking are we going to have to endure to have a roster that can compete for the, 7th seed? And I think now with Keontae George looking like an absolute stud, with guys out there like Yusuf Nurkic, triple double watch like all the time. I think team governorship, my guess is team governorship looked at what they have and they said, we are a little better than we expected. We actually have some guys. Let's take some of these first round picks before we get good and weaponize them. I just can't believe they did it like this. Al, what did you make of the Jazz, their evaluation of their own roster? I think that's where they erred. I think the valuation for Jaren Jackson Jr. is, perfect market price, exactly what the Grizzlies were hoping to get. I think they walked away with a great return. I think the Jazz, were they in the position to make this kind of deal? I don't know. That's kind of how I see it. Did you see it differently? Do you love this?
Yeah, I'll answer in two ways. I think the first one was, what was my initial reaction? And I thought the initial reaction was this was too rich, right? 3 first rounders plus Walter Clayton, which essentially is a first rounder himself.
Exactly.
But then the more I thought through it, Chris, the more I kind of looked at it from the Utah Jazz perspective. I like it more and more. In fact, it went from like a 20-80, Memphis won that trade to 50-50 to now I'm siding with the Utah Jazz. A lot can happen in two hours, right? While you digest
exactly
about a move. And the thing that really got to me is this is because of the jump that Kenta George made, right? Without this incredible development from this player, 28-year-old Markkanen was basically the only piece they had. And it was hard to build around that. Now you have a 26-year-old Jaren Jackson to pair with the 28-year-old star that you guys both know I think is super underrated in this league. And then Kenta George is playing like he's a very, seasoned veteran himself at 22. So, those 3 players and then you add Walker Kessler, you add Ace Bailey. I think you just had to do it. And Utah's not in a market where they can attract a guy like a Jaren Jackson or someone close to his level in the free agency. And so
right.
I think a team like Utah, and I think I've talked about this in the past, you do all your due diligence in terms of, getting all the assets, making the right deals, getting $1.20 to, $1 on more than $1 on every single trade until you overpay for this trade. And I think that's what happened. They had to go for it. And I think it ended up being a good deal. I know you hate it, Chris, but I think the more you think about it, Utah had to make a move, and Jaren Jackson, still 26 years old.
How can you hate it? Let's hear it.
Did they have to make a move, though? See, that's the thing.
They didn't have to make a move.
They would be staying status quo forever, in my opinion.
Right now,
why they hate?
They are in line to pick 6th, right? That's where they're at. I don't really understand the rush to get better, especially with this draft class, the top of it, looking how it does. We are either about to see some of the nastiest tank work of all time, and the Jazz are offenders. They are not some innocent tanking team. This is either about to get way worse in coming months, or they have decided that they are just above just above this draft class. They're above being in contention for a top pick. I don't get it. I don't get why now. I don't think there was any rush. And if you thought someone else might get Jaren Jackson Jr. and you really needed him, and that's why you paid this price, I understand that, right? But how do you think that when your roster looks the way the Utah Jazz roster did? I understand a team coming to this conclusion, Al. I don't understand that team being the Jazz. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Hello.
It's your first time here on All Things NBA. We got the party started. We let 1,000 people join the show before giving you the microphone because I wanted the pressure to really build up. Can you make any sense of this trade? Or do you agree with Al? Am I the odd man out? Or am I right that Utah paid the exact market price for Jaren Jackson Jr. because they majorly misevaluated where they are at right now? They are treating Kenta George, who I love and loved pre-draft, they are treating him like he is Damian Lillard. They are treating Lauri Markkanen like he is going to give him give them his best every single season for the rest of his life until he's 90. I mean, am I the crazy one here?
I think this would have been an amazing trade in July for Utah. I like this trade still for Utah. I think the thing about the Utah market is famously they are not going to attract a lot of free agents, and even with Lauri Markkanen on this team putting up 27 a night, the Utah Jazz have not won a whole bunch of games. I'm not breaking any news to you. They need to build out their roster either through the draft or through trades, and they have a bunch of picks. They have a bunch of young guys on this team. A lot of these picks at this point are expendable, and is it a little bit rich? I would have to agree that it is. But overall, from a team building perspective, when you think about Danny Ainge and where he's trying to build this team, it's not Miami, it's not New York, it's not LA. The proverbial everybody wants to go to these locations because these are the prime locations in the NBA. You have to find different avenues to acquire talent like JJ Jr. in order to build a competitive roster. Whether you like it or not, that is the reality of the situation. So
correct.
You have to make these trades. And for Utah, I mean, I think it's great. I think Jaren Jackson is really going to be another pillar of that core because now you have Markkanen, now you have Keontae George, now you have Jaren Jackson Jr. You have these guys that are starting to, and you also have Ace Bailey, who's coming off the bench, sort of, but I would imagine he's going to start sooner rather than later. You are starting to
start
build
at the 2.
What's that?
Is he going to start at the 2?
He's going to start somewhere. I think
put Kristaps at the 1. Just make it the 20. What was it?
Sure.
The 2019 Knicks. The East is big, man.
But
everyone's a forward now. What are we doing?
The Utah Jazz have clearly identified that Jaren Jackson Jr. is somebody that can come in and take this team from a bottom 10. Whatever, let's beat them by 50 type of team to, okay, we're going to move forward. This is the blueprint for the seasons to come. We are building the foundation of what could be a decent core here moving forward. Like I said, I think this would have been great in July after the tanking was over. I think the timing is a little strange, but at the same time, I think Utah has a boatload of picks and young players that they could have offloaded, and this for Memphis, this makes a whole lot of sense. You are in full rebuild mode. John Morant is going to get traded before the deadline, so you have to just trade everybody that you can at this point. Get as much value as you can. They got a lot of value out of it.
This was an amazing return.
3 first-round picks. They got a bunch of talented prospects. They can see what they have in them, in these next 2 months here before the season's over. I just kind of am a little, wondering what the timing of it means for Utah, but I think Utah did really well here.
So Vince Williams Jr., A10, shout out, they picked up in this deal as well. I like the fit with Keontae George there. I think they're not, I don't know if they start Vince, but I think however many minutes a game they give Keontae and Vince, I love that. Just physical, big, 1-2 literal punch at the point and shooting guard positions. And then you can go big with the rest of your lineup too. Filipowski, Kessler, that's a fastball and a slider. That is a modern big and a classic big right there with Kyle and with Walk. So Utah's team, their roster now is interesting. Taylor Hendricks was a project when they drafted him. He has not really been great or healthy so far in his career. Love the ad from Memphis, right? Memphis just signed Ty Jerome. Now they add Walter Clayton Jr., kind of like another Ty Jerome for that, Walt can learn from Ty. I like this ad. This is an A return, A flat, not minus, not plus. This is an A return for the Memphis Grizzlies for Jaren Jackson Jr. And to me, the big factor there is everyone seems to know that they're rebuilding. Everyone seems to know that they're about to trade Ja and tear this thing down. So this kind of reminds me of the Utah Jazz themselves getting maximum peak value for Rudy Gobert. Now, they're the ones giving out that value for Jaren Jackson Jr. And I think the Rudy Gobert trade has been fine for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think Rudy has been exactly who they expected him to be. He's been an excellent player. But his contract, and the fact that they gave up that much draft capital for him is also probably a little bit part of the reason why they don't have a more impressive crew around such a young superstar in Anthony Edwards right now. So Do I kind of see it playing out the same way in Utah? Yeah, where they look back on this and they're like, yeah, we built up a fun team, but we also kind of limited ourselves, but we were never going to be this fun unless we did that. It's just they're eating a ceiling by doing this. And I think you guys are right to acknowledge, with your point about Utah not being a destination, that this is the best they're going to be. I agree with Andrew that they could have probably done this in the offseason with a different player. I don't know. We'll get into not the next trade. I kind of want to get into the most recent trade that we saw next, because it kind of sets up something I wanted to talk about here, which is, we might see a different star, Ja Morant, we mentioned, get traded. But Domantas Sabonis is someone else who's been in rumors. The Celtics swapping Anthony Simons for Nick Vucevic, a little bit of a weird trade. I'm going to throw a bomb on you guys. I'm going to throw an absolute random idea out. The Bulls just having dealt Vooch for Simons. Do I have any takers on Chicago as a Sabonis landing spot? Going once.
To do what?
The play-in invitational.
What does that accomplish for Chicago? You trade for
Sabonis is definitely better than Vooch.
Sure. I'll give you that. That's fine.
Not by much.
How many forwards do they want? Do they want Patrick Williams, Keegan Murray, DeAndre Hunter?
Well, do they want anybody good? Like really good? Or do they want to be in the 10th spot, 9th spot?
I think
Andrew's
the Bulls are ready to trade Ayo Dosunmu. I think their moves at guard.
They're getting rid of Ayo and Kobe. It's going to happen.
So one of Ayo or Kobe is definitely getting moved. What if it happens in a Sabonis trade? I don't know. I'm trying to put some pieces together.
I think Sabonis wants to win, and there's no winning going on in Chicago.
But it's the Kings. They're gonna win. Giddey is gonna win more games than. Sorry, who again?
Both teams just need to try going for 0 and tank for Darren, man.
I thought you told me Matas Buzelis was the second best.
I still believe. I love he's young as hell.
And LeBron James.
He is. He's killing it. He's
okay. So Josh Giddey and
he's
Matas
not looking to win right now, though.
Bonus is not like a thing to you.
No,
Jaden Ivey Matas is not bad, to be honest. That's a really young, athletic 1-2, and
right.
So
we'll see how they
maybe go get AJ DeBonsa. I mean, let's gun for that.
Maybe, but so but that's the thing is I think we're
send Sabonis to Toronto or somewhere kind of fun.
We're disconnecting here because while I agree the Bulls should bottom out, what I'm trying to say is when do the Bulls do what we think they should do? I think there's a world where they're a Sabonis.
Who says they're not trying to do that right now after getting rid of Vooch?
I guess to answer Chris's question,
they traded for Anthony Simons.
Sabonis arguably is an upgrade over Vucevic, yes.
Arguably, 100%. Objectively.
But I don't think that delta is large enough to make a splash. Exactly. The only player that's available, potentially is Giannis, right? So do they have enough stuff for Giannis? Most of us don't think so. And apparently Chicago's not on his list anyways. So when you're Chicago, unless you're getting a Giannis level player, I don't think you're going to be, moving the needle at all.
I just don't see what Sabonis accomplishes for Chicago, because
they're
not good enough to win now. Adding Sabonis would maybe add a couple wins to their record, but it's not enough to really swing the pendulum the other way. Unless you could convince me, okay, they get Sabonis, and then also on top of that, they also continue to restructure their team and build around that. Maybe you can convince me, but just adding Sabonis and then lifting, taking your hands off of the pen and saying, okay, well, that's it. The test is over.
That's it for now.
What about Sabonis and RJ Barrett?
See, what do you see? This is all just. But that's
the thought process you got to go through. I mean, if I'm Chicago, I'd rather have Julius Randle. Reroute Julius Randle there instead of Sabonis. He's way better than Sabonis. Not way
Okay.
better,
There's
but
something.
better.
There's something playoff of Giddy, right? I
How
think
about Gobert and Julius Randle there? And
I think the Bulls should bottom out. I don't think they will. I don't think
okay, if
they
you don't
will.
think they will, yeah, go for better guys than Sabonis. I mean, Julius Randle at least is
They
gonna.
acquired Ivy, right? If they're looking to trade Ao, can they turn him into a package for Sabonis that leaves them with an upgrade at center over Vucevic and leaves them
Rudy
with
Gobert.
a replenished guard room with Ivy
Take him.
replacing Ayo Dosunmu? So that's what I'm wondering, right? Like the Kings just traded Keon Ellis. Would they be interested in Ayo Dosunmu as a replacement for him pretty much?
I think everybody wants Io. He's that type of dude.
So if the Kings get him in return for Sabonis, and what else would make that money work? Like Patrick Williams comes to mind, but I don't know how many big wings the Kings are going to trade for. I can't think that Chicago is done here. I think they're trying to do something else. I don't think they're looking at acquiring Simons and Ivy and sending out Vucevic. I don't think this is when they're lifting.
What about
their hands off
Malik Monk? I mean, that's
not
probably the
another
salary.
guard, man.
I know,
Not
but
another guard.
Here's the thing: you're getting rid of Io and Kobe White though somewhere. That they're really trying to get rid of those guys.
But they just got Simons and Ivy.
I'm trying to help you out. I'm not trying to fix the Bulls. I don't give a fuck about the Bulls.
This is too many guards. Okay. The other
I'm trying
side
to
of
help
that
you
trade,
land here some way.
going to the Boston Celtics. Does anyone like this for Boston? Just gonna. Okay, of course you do. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
What else was Boston gonna do, man? They think there's
nothing better than this.
They think there's a glimmer. Tatum's gonna come back. Signs are pointing to no, but
they don't. They just reported the other day that's not happening.
They haven't ruled them out.
They'd be motivated.
They're hunting the shittiest conference we've seen in a long, long time. Jaylen Brown's playing phenomenal. They got very close to enough right now without Tatum to make the conference finals.
You think, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They are not better than Cleveland or
they're
New
not
York.
better. I'm just saying they have enough. Like they're not my
Detroit either.
They're not my pick.
I want to highlight here that if you don't think that Detroit is better than Boston, you are very heavily sleeping on the Pistons. I just want to.
I'm with you. I agree. Detroit's better, but like I'm not saying Boston can't beat Detroit right now in a 7-game series.
I disagree.
I still would pick. I'd pick Detroit in 6 right now. I would, but I think it'd be very close.
I might take Boston.
Let's go. Let's fucking go.
They have 2 guys, and Detroit has 1.
And Andrew, go to war. Let's hear it.
Derek White is to me better than Jalen Duren.
I don't think the Pistons are necessarily a playoff team yet, like a great one. I mean, they're a great regular season team right now, that's for sure.
Amazing, dominant regular season.
Cade's the only playoff player right now, in my opinion.
Well, Osar is really good defensively, right?
Well, you haven't seen
correct. That's exactly it.
Like a 6-game sample size.
Correct.
But this is a young team that played very well last season, and almost beat the Knicks last season.
They lost the shooting in Beasley, but now they got Herter.
I want people to understand that the Knicks won the series and they advanced, but the Knicks almost blew the series. The Pistons with Cade Cunningham and friends nearly beat the Knicks in that first round series last season. So it was a lot closer than a lot of people thought it was going to be.
The campaign WWE run.
You take
that game 4.
You take
a lot of those early growing pains from this roster, and you go, okay, now you have that experience in the back of your pocket. Now you can go in and I don't want to say do what OKC did, but OKC lost in that second round series a few years ago. Remember that, when they were young and they were figuring it out, and then they won 1 million games and they won the NBA championship. I'm not saying that that's exactly what Detroit's going to do, but that is the blueprint for a team like Detroit, where they get beat in the playoffs early, they understand how to play playoff basketball, and now this year coming in, they're the top team in the East, and I think they're going to be a lot scarier than people think that they will be come game 1 of the playoffs.
I think adding Herter is a sneaky good move for Detroit as well. It's going to space the floor out. He's never going to have. He didn't have a creator like Cade in Chicago, and the fact that Herter stinks. Wow, that was perfect timing.
Yeah,
he has gone downhill, but he was playing in Chicago.
I think, he's a player that
can. Shots that he was missing in Chicago, he'll be making in Detroit because it's going to be much.
I agree.
It'll be much more open.
I like the Herter signing for sure, but
do you guys think? I'm trying to play off this world where like maybe
Jaden Ivey is a kind of a
would Memphis take draft capital to take Jakob Poeltl, and then Sabonis goes to Toronto with the Poeltl money, and then the Kings use the money that they were spending on Sabonis on Ja Morant, who they get from Memphis because they're getting picks and Jakob Poeltl.
If Ja Morant ends up in Sacramento, he'll be in jail before, I don't know. Dude, Sacramento would be there. Sacramento would be the worst place for Ja Morant mentally.
How did we get there?
I like Ja Morant's not a bad guy. I'm exaggerating a bit on that, but
a bit.
He will not be mentally well in Sacramento. That place will fucking rot him so quickly. So quickly.
Have you even been to Sacramento?
He needs to be. No, the city's fine. It's not the city. It's the organization.
Oh my God!
Imagine pairing Ja Morant with either DeMar DeRozan or Zach LaVine right now.
We gotta clip the last 2 minutes of Zach. It's gonna go.
I'm sorry, but Ja Morant will be Stephon Marbury over in China before we know it. If he goes to Sacramento, he needs to go somewhere. Miami would be awesome. Miami would be amazing for the guy.
What? But this is all just like made up. Like, what serious team is trading for him right now if it's not the Minnesota Timberwolves?
The Miami Heat.
Why?
Why they're rumored with them? That's the only thing I can think of. I'm not a Ja Morant guy, obviously.
They're big game hunting. Oh, clearly they're big game hunting. They're in the Giannis race right now.
Yeah, but if you strike out on Giannis, and there's actually a rumor out there that seems kind of legit that Giannis and Ja are on the table for Miami.
But that's every trade season with the Miami Heat, right?
Also, exactly.
Yeah. Rumors from who? Hoomst is saying that. Like I could make a fake page and start like putting out rumors, but like these things have to come from legitimate sources. I would like a citation with some of these
Ira Winderman. That's a reporter. That's a
I love Ira. I love
there
Ira.
You go.
I think Ira's great.
I'm not gonna say I don't think he's that legit, but he's fine.
Ira is legit, and I will defend Ira here.
All right, there you go. Let's
put some respect on Ira's name.
Point guard has made clear he's amenable
but also
to
like
back in your face.
Your jaw comments. I want no part of those. I'll just say that.
All right, I'll claim them. I'm standing behind him. Sacramento is you gotta. I would love to see DeMar or Zach somewhere else right now. Like it's ugly there. They have no direction.
So,
Chris, I do have to drop. So I'll end it with a question, and I'd love to hear Andrew's thoughts. Gun to your head, where do you think Giannis is going?
No, you tell us before you leave.
Man. I don't think he gets traded before the deadline. I think this is a summer thing when teams have more to offer and have a better understanding of where their future picks can lead and what kind of pack. Like this would very much impact teams like the Knicks, where their prospects now to trade for Giannis are slim to none, and other teams can beat their trade offers. But if Giannis doesn't get traded, that teams like the Knicks and there's other teams in the mix as well, that all of a sudden now they have more at their disposal to trade for a guy like that. And they have more of an idea of, okay, this is our books for the next season. This is how we can clear out money. This is how we can stay under the second apron. That could, prove more tantalizing to the Bucks if they want to wait. It's a double-edged sword. You wait too long, and no one, and the offers might come down. But if you trade now and you don't wait, then you might, pull the trigger a little bit too early, and you might have missed out on some more aspects. Like I don't think as of right now that Giannis will get traded, but it's very clear to me that he doesn't want to be there. So Milwaukee might be forced to move him. It wouldn't surprise me if he stayed, though.
Before you go, Albert, give us one move you want. Give us one move anywhere.
I want to see Harden in Cleveland. I think the Eastern Conference is wide open. I don't think that Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland pairing is working out well. And Harden, in my opinion, I know we're talking to Zach, who's the biggest Harden fan I know. If you surround that guy with talent and with the team that's supposed to support him, he's amazing. So I want to see him in Cleveland.
Except for 6 months from now when he wants out. But
yeah. Al, thanks for popping out today. We know you have meetings and things to do. You're a guy.
Thank you, Andrew. Talk soon.
For sure. Have a good one.
We will catch you, my guy. Al, you can catch him online at AnalyticsCapper, over on Twitter /X/ whatever. Who cares? That leaves us with one trade to talk about, and that is, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but the Mike Conley-fication of the Minnesota Timberwolves, Jaden Ivey to the Bulls, the Pistons getting off of Jaden Ivey. They were, I think, the winners of this deal when I really think about it. Pistons got off of Jaden Ivey and turned him into a give and take sharpshooter. But they also got a first round pick swap out of this deal. So I thought this was pretty good for Detroit. Mike Conley to the Bulls, Jaden Ivey to the Bulls. And they gave up really who did they give up? Just Herter, right? That was it. They gave up nothing else but Herter. So yeah, to give up just Herter and get Ivy and a vet and Conley back, I mean that's fine. That's cool if you like Ivy. I'm not a huge Ivy guy, but I think Chicago, especially if they're looking to move Ayo Dosunmu, is in a spot where he could really replace him. I guess this is all just kind of meh. This is all just kind of cardboard soup. This is all just kind of this just happened. The most exciting part of this trade to me, and I tweeted this earlier, is the Wolves getting nothing. The Wolves getting nothing was the most exciting part of this trade. Andrew, I saw you said something similar. What do you think they're doing here? What are Zach's
They're
Wolves
doing something.
What does Zach's Wolves have cooking? Because I say it's Giannis, Harden, Kobe White, and apparently Kobe White is off the table because they didn't trade for him on purpose. And we had a comment about this earlier. Dirty Dancer saying Minnie turning down Kobe is going to look really bad if they miss out on Giannis. And I'm going to kill Zach here by making him not get to respond. And Andrew, you get to respond first because I know Zach disagrees with this. So Andrew, you get to go first, and Zach, you get to fester.
The Timberwolves need a point guard. They've known this the entire season. Mike Conley is a great guy. He just is a little too old at this point. He cannot play.
Yeah, you know it again. You always know it's over when someone whips out the good dude.
He's
exactly. A great guy.
When you start off a conversation about a player talking about how great they are or where they were drafted 15 years ago, as opposed to what they could do for you now, that means that player is no longer good. Mike Conley is a great guy. He just cannot play at the level that the Minnesota Timberwolves needed to for him to play at the point guard level. They need a point guard. They've known this the entire season. Now they get out of his money. The Timberwolves traded in this 3-team trade, and they got nothing. But they did get one of the most important pieces in this deal. They got cap flexibility. And now the question becomes, okay, well, you did that trade for a reason. There's something that now, they were trying to do this for pretty much the entire season, so now that finally happened, that's great. But they knew that they needed a point guard. Now, they don't have a backup point guard anymore, which is another.
They're Bones.
Okay, sure.
Bones has been good for them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But they need a starting point guard. So to me, if Minnesota gets Giannis, obviously Giannis is an incredible player, and I have nothing negative to say about Giannis. But from a team building perspective, they still wouldn't have a point guard. Like, okay, you trade for Giannis, and that, Anthony Edwards and Giannis would be a tremendous duo. You don't have a point guard.
Yeah, but you make it work. Like that's one of those things where you trade, you lose a trade or something. You that's not a problem. You
sure?
That's a non-issue. You just make that work. You sign someone, or you trust in Rob, as much as Finch will hate it, you just force him to do it. You figure it out, man. You just if you have Giannis on your team, that's a non-issue. Non-issue. Not anything to hold you up or to worry about. What I'm interested in is the math, why they were so certain that they couldn't get Kobe right now and then still get Giannis. Like, what trade does that take out of the equation, or would that have taken out of the equation? What do they think the return is going to be from them if they are who lands Giannis? That's what I want to know, because in my opinion, when you look at their roster right now, I don't think it's unfair to say that trading both Randall and Naz Reid would leave them, they're trading all their forwards and bigs. If they're getting Giannis back, that's fine. So what package are they so concerned about, no longer being able to give up in a world where they had taken Kobe White back? Because to me, if they use that pick that they gave up to dump Conley and get Kobe White back, it has a ceiling on it, but that's great business. This is objectively poor business that is not bad at all if they make the other shoe drop. I just, like Dirty Dancer said in the comments, this is going to look really bad if they miss out on Giannis. And that isn't,
it's worth the risk.
Not some earth-shattering take, but so Zach, you say worth the risk? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So
really?
If this is just a cap situation and we miss out on Harden, we miss out on Giannis, we miss out on Darius Garland and Io, and we don't get anybody here, then it'll be a terrible look on the ownership. I mean, right now they're out of the hard cap. No more apron restrictions. They created a $10.8 million trade exception. But Kobe White, you're right. He's a good player. I'm with everything Andrew said. We've desperately needed a point guard. That's why like a Randall for Harden swap or something like that wouldn't even be bad. But I don't look at Kobe White as a point guard, never have. And he's closer to a Dante DiVincenzo than he is a Mike Conley or a true point guard that this team needs to get the ball out of Ant and give him some more space that he needs to operate. But yeah, I don't care about Kobe White that much. I really don't. He wasn't going to make this team as is a championship contender.
Really
no. I mean,
someone.
I'd rather have Io than Kobe White, to be honest. There's a lot of other options out there, and I think it's going to be a very busy finish to the deadline. But if you're Minnesota and you got a once-in-a-lifetime chance to take a swing at Giannis, yeah, you're patient and you wait till the last minute, whatever it takes to stay in the sweepstakes and have some fun.
I think Kobe White is way too good to be saying oh yeah, I mean maybe you get him, maybe you don't. If you can get Io DeSumnu after not getting Giannis, I don't think that's just as good, especially given the fit.
We can disagree on that. Time will tell.
Especially given the fit, but I think the fit with the Wolves roster is so important here.
Io is a great fit.
Give Orlando a call, see if Anthony Black is on the table.
Even better, Jalen Suggs. Give Jalen Suggs a return home. There's a way better point guard than Kobe White.
They're not trading Jalen Suggs.
What does Minnesota have that Orlando wants for Anthony Black?
I don't want Anthony Black. I'd take him though over Kobe White probably, but
what does Minnesota have that Orlando would even
Great question.
I don't know. But Orlando's a team I'd be calling because Orlando
You'd rather
is
have Anthony
stuck
Black
between a
than
rock and a
Naz
hard
Reid.
place.
You'd rather have Anthony Black than Naz Reid. You'd rather have Anthony Black than.
What do we got to give him for?
I'm not saying it's likely. I am saying if I'm Minnesota, I am calling Orlando.
What? Well, who's someone they can actually get? Like Ayo Dosunmu makes sense, right? But
I think Kobe's going to be very cheap for somebody.
Are you starting Bones? Are you starting Bones and then Ayo's like your 6-man type of archetype, or are you starting Ayo with Ant and telling Ayo to go pressure? Go pressure the ball, go stop the ball, and then like hoping that his 3-point shooting keeps up, because I don't know how much I believe in Ayo Dosunmu's 3-point shooting to keep up the way it has this year. Reason being, he's making a lot of freaking 3-pointers, man, and I
believe in it a lot more than Bones at 36%.
So on character, dude. You're telling me that you think a guy, okay, Ayo. Not last year, the year before. He took 4 3-pointers a game. He made 40% of them. 4 3-pointers a game is not a lot, right? But making 40% is really good. Then last year, he took the same amount of 3-pointers per game, but he made 0.3 fewer.
Bro, he's 38 for his career. He had
that took him down to 33%.
5 bad years.
5 bad years. He's been in the league for 6.
2 out of 5. 2 out of 5.
Okay, but the thing is, it's every other. Rookie year, 38. Sophomore year, 31. Third year, 40%. Fourth year, 33%. Now this year, 45% so far on 4.3 attempts per game.
You can only go by the facts, right?
So the facts are that he's going to stink next year from 3-point land. If you want to do it that way, the facts are that he's on track to be 31% again. So like I can't say that he's an adequate.
I just would rather have his defense
but that's because you didn't get Giannis and you're screwed. That's like, oh, we're not going to be good no matter what, so now we got to get someone. That's different than, oh, if we got Kobe White, that could be the exact addition we need. Someone who, with Bones Highland, gives us 48 minutes of playoff play at the 1, playoff guard play, given that we have Anthony Edwards out there as well. I think it's just a different situation.
Here's the story that's going on to the national table real quick is Chris Finch could be losing the locker room.
That's really?
Yeah, go listen to the guys in the locker room last night after the game, and Finch was pretty speechless and pointing the finger like no other. And I mean, it's been going on for a while, and their body language isn't good either. But I think a lot of Minnesota fans wouldn't mind it getting to that point, but that'd be also getting kind of greedy, you could say. But if you have Anthony Edwards, I think you got to be a little greedy at times. I think he is the coach before Phil Jackson gets to the Lakers. He's the coach before Phil Jackson gets to the Bulls. I mean, that's the situation. If we get Giannis, we got Shaq coming to the Lakers.
I can't imagine the Timberwolves finding a better coach than Finch.
It'd be hard.
Well, who would you hire? Let's say,
that's a great question.
It's very easy to fire a head
Correct.
coach.
I could give you an answer for all-star replacements, but a coach, that'd be tough. I mean, who would be some options right now?
Well, that's the thing. Like, if
Mike Malone. Give me Mike Malone.
If you're going to advocate for Chris Finch to get fired,
Mike Malone,
well then you need to convince me and Chris a different head coach that could come into Minnesota in the middle of a season, by the way, and make them even better than they are currently.
Chris Finch did that, so who could we do that?
Well, that's on you to tell me.
I know. I didn't come prepared for that one.
Coach is Chris Finch.
You think Spo's ready to leave Miami? And
no.
Oh man,
Minnesota is not.
It's very easy to fire. It's very difficult.
Right.
To find
what about John Shire?
Job.
What about John Shire coming up? If he doesn't win in the tournament again, I've heard some talk about him wanting to go to Chicago.
So Chris Finch is losing the locker room, but Duke's head coach is going to come in and just just tell it like it is, and everyone's
He's
gonna
probably
love
not coming in halfway through the season.
Get
No,
the
but
hell out. Man, you're just bored. This Giannis stuff has you loopy. I think that's the lesson from today. Is you're off your rocker because your team is in the Giannis talks.
You know, I've always been hesitant of Chris Finch, and I mean, he's just surviving off talent. I mean,
every team thinks their head coach is bad and this and that, and then
I've always liked Joe Mazzulla.
Man, but that's because he's not the Wolves head coach. You admire him from afar.
I'm a Celtics part-timer.
Like, oh, I can't believe he does this and that. Again, it's the every night, day in, day out. I think it's easy to. I don't think coaches are like all perfect. I just think it's very easy.
No, there's very few great coaches. That's for sure. There's even less available.
Exactly.
So let's fire Chris Finch and try to find someone.
No, I'm with you. You got to have a backup plan, and I don't have that. So I'm just saying.
Also, if Giannis wants to join
after last night's game,
if he wants to join the Timberwolves, I would think they.
But also the other reason why I bring this up. This is the reason why.
Hold on, Zach.
KD,
Chris, what were you saying about Giannis?
Go for it, Zach. What about
Thank
KD?
You. Real quick. KD vetoed a trade last year at the trade deadline because of Chris Finch. So I think it's very real. Like
that's not why he vetoed.
He doesn't care about Chris Finch.
That's
not why he
vetoed. Dude, Windhorst or somebody legit said that too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I've been watching Kenny Atkinson coaching on YouTube, and I think he's a really good coach. And then 7 months later, he got fired.
I've always been a Kenny Atkinson guy. I mean,
what does that have to? That's not my point. Damn it! Enough.
Give me him or Quinn Snyder.
Swatting you away. Basically, I can't imagine that it. This just isn't. It's not worth more thought. They're not firing Finch if they're not desperate. If you fire Finch, it's because you're desperate. That's like you struck out on Giannis. People are mad that they were in the trade talks for Giannis, and no one likes each other.
It's just a blessing to be in the talks, honestly. Whatever happens. But.
Right, but the point is this mentality going to burn you? Are you a little too excited about just being in the talks that you're writing off Kobe White and poo-pooing him?
I'd rather, like I said, I'd rather have Harden or Darius Garland, and they're both on the table as well. I think they're both realistic.
So who are the Wolves giving up for Garland? Let's talk about this. Who are the Wolves trading for Garland? Is it a 3-team trade? Because there's not they give up Naz Reid, and the Cavs he doesn't really fit with Allen and Mobley, or is Naz coming off the bench for Cleveland then? What?
He might.
What is this? What's the trade offer? Andrew, if you're Minnesota, how interested are you in Darius Garland with everything with the injury, with this and that?
I mean, I like Garland as a player. I think he hasn't reached the full potential to what Cleveland has gotten out of him. I think Garland could be a very good player. The problem with could be is
with
that
Edwards?
he could be anything. Right? You could pick the boat or the mystery box. So there's anything could be in the mystery box. So it could be a boat. Garland is potentially a great get for Minnesota if they can get him. The problem is that will they get the great version of Darius Garland? That has to be a genuine concern if you are trading for him, especially if you are in a, let's just put it, bluntly, a little bit of a shaky situation in Minnesota. Because if this trade doesn't go well for them, now what do? You're stuck. You don't have anywhere to go. Are you going to do offload Garland again and get cents on the dollar for what you traded for at the deadline a few months before? You can't really move off of that deal. You have to be very sure that the player that you are getting is going to make this team a bona fide conference threat.
I think Harden does that depending on what the rest of the roster looks like. I think depending on what the rest of the roster looks like, Harden does that. We talked about this months ago on this show. That the Pistons
wants to stay.
should trade for James Harden, and not Lauri Markkanen and not whoever else. And Lauri ended up going for the 3 first-round picks and the young players. I still think Harden would be a great target for the Pistons, but that's clearly not the direction they're going in. So the Cavaliers are the team that seems to be smart enough to poach Harden from the West and have him run their show out east. I think Harden and Donovan would be great. I think Harden brings the size offensively that Garland didn't have. You're going to get the same thing defensively out of Harden that you did out of Garland. You might as well have him be a couple inches taller on offense. I really like that for Cleveland. I think the Wolves. Can the Wolves offer the Clippers something for Harden that they're more interested in than Darius Garland? Because if I'm the Clippers and the Cavs, that seems like a win-win deal. So maybe
Julius Randle would be pretty interesting, I think.
Maybe we just talk about this to conclude here, because this news about Harden and Garland, there was a report earlier today that it's kind of getting in Garland's head that he's going to be a Clipper. And it's getting in Harden's head that he's going to be a Cav, and that people are telling these guys that this deal is looking like it's going to happen. This either feels like posturing from someone that wants this thing to get done and wants one of the two sides to cave in and give the other side what they want, whatever it is, or get the two sides to agree to call it a wash, not throw in a pick. Like, hey, the Clippers, you're getting a much younger player. You guys are not exactly a contender. You're a really good team. He's a really good player. He's no James Harden, but James Harden is also 35. So this allows you to pivot.
He's going to want out in 6 minutes.
This allows you to, this allows you to pivot a little bit. And then the other side for Cleveland is like, hey, I don't think they're necessarily worried about Donovan Mitchell jumping ship, but the fit, like you said, Andrew, hasn't been amazing with Garland. I don't think it's been poor. I think it would be better with Harden. And the thing with Garland is also his lack of availability is kind of, to me, what just led them to give up Hunter and be okay getting a guard back in Schroeder. So if I'm the Clips and if I'm the Cavs, I'm looking at that trade and I'm thinking, yeah, swapping Garland for Harden is kind of a win-win. If I'm the Wolves, I'm definitely trying to delay all of this and see if I can't get Giannis, can I get Harden? I don't know. I don't know if they have, like, is Naz Reid a better offer than Garland?
Naz Reid plays.
What's Collins' contract situation? Is he expiring after next season? Because then maybe
Collins and Naz Reid isn't a great fit.
Not excellent planning there.
No.
So I'm trying to think, like, what makes sense here.
I mean,
I think you're in a tough spot if you're Minnesota. I think you're in a tough spot if you're Cleveland. I think if you acquire James Harden, you have, like, the window both gets larger and smaller at the same time. It gets larger in that, okay, well, your ceiling is higher this year.
You have an actual shot right now.
Right. Like, yeah, like you
there's a
legitimate chance to win the East with James Harden on your team this season.
The Cavs have a legit chance to win the East right now.
The problem is that if you don't win the East this season, he's going to ask out in July. So, like, the window is soon enough. But, like, I say that half tongue in cheek, but also it has to be, if you are a general manager in the NBA that is thinking about acquiring James Harden, it is a legitimate worry that you have to have at this point because of the history associated with James Harden and what he's done throughout his career. It is something that you have to keep in the back of your mind, whether that's fair or unfair. He's done this in multiple spots throughout his career. You have to think about these things. So you have now, if you get James, if you're Cleveland and you acquire James Harden, okay, that's great. Your ceiling now for this season becomes a lot higher, but your longevity is cut by a drastic amount.
To your point, so it's a fair concern. I think it's something that you can't ignore. You're definitely right there. You can't ignore it. But at the same time, like, history repeats itself with Harden. There's been a pattern, but, like, we don't know if Harden's demanded a trade. There hasn't been a legit report. Like, people just want to run to that because it's happened so many times. And even though Harden's reasons, I will give James Harden this. He knows when that window is over for championship contention at each one of those spots, it's over. Like, he knows when to leave, and he just hasn't, in my opinion, he's never had a team that's been good enough to be a contender. I think Cleveland would be, but the problem is he goes with these old stars that always get hurt and injury prone versus choosing a new star that hasn't been that injury prone, knock on wood, like Anthony Edwards or Donovan Mitchell. Would definitely be a different look for James Harden. But yeah, I mean, just because he's got Houston, that was over. That train was over when he left. I mean, Kyrie is a part-time player. We don't have to go over all the scenarios, sure. But we don't know for sure if this specific one in general, the Clippers were messing with his money a little bit. And who knows what exactly happened there. But I do like
he
the
does
fact
want
that
out. I mean, Kawhi was asked about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I found out during the game." Like he you know, like this is real.
He found out the rumors are real. He didn't find out if Harden was actually asking out.
Of course, that's
he knows
a surprise.
there's
I was
talks.
playing. Leonard told reporters after the game, "I have no comment on it. I respect his decision, or whoever's decision."
Yeah,
is,
there you
which
go.
Is an
Whoever's
which is an interesting caveat.
Right.
That's it.
Or
He's still going to be my
whoever's
boy, and I
decision.
trust the front
Yeah.
office. Like
it's smart of the Clippers. It's smart of the Clippers. Like the Clippers might have forgot he has a trade kicker that where he gets to decide if he wants to leave or not. I know, but like
they're not. These
they're
are
so far out of
details
the
that
mix.
people don't
They're
forget. Zach.
So far out of the mix right now that you don't blame the Clippers for wanting to try to get younger if they can. You know,
Right. I get it. I just think
they wouldn't leak that James Harden would want out because then he would go out and deny it. Like that's not.
I just
you don't leak that without
he's
James.
He's never really been too vocal when it comes to.
I think Garland makes a lot of sense. I'm scared of the Cavs if they get this deal done. I think they get really good. And I also
as a Knicks fan, that's fair.
I wonder. Well, close enough. Yeah, whatever.
Any chance Giannis actually would go there though with that? I mean,
go where?
If they shipped out Mobley and picks for Giannis, and you got Harden, Giannis, Mitchell.
Why? I don't think any of these other teams in the talks for Giannis are giving up someone as close to it as
Evan
valuable.
Mobley. Exactly. That's why they could win that. They could win that race with an Evan Mobley.
Right. The Knicks could win the race with Jalen Brunson. But, like, the point is, like...
Come on. Evan Mobley's not in the Jalen Brunson conversation.
That's not my point.
He's closer to Jaden McDaniels.
My point is that any team can win the sweepstakes by offering someone way better than everyone else. But that's not how, like, business work. Like, it's clear that, like, Giannis is not going for a Mobley-type package, man. Like, you don't just show up and offer Evan Mobley to have the best offer. What else
would Cleveland offer salary wise? You know, like that's what would have to. Jared Allen's not going to get it done.
Allen, Schroeder, Tyson, and I don't know how much draft capital they have. I just don't think they're a destination. I don't think they have the interest of Giannis. I don't think they have a package that fits the way some of these other teams do, whether it's a Golden State or a Miami or even a Minnesota, where they're able to offer such like clear versions of different packages of the same value.
Woodnorse is the one that brought that idea up, so don't blame me.
I just can't see Cleveland being like, what if we beat everyone's offer by a mile and completely like killed all our outs? Like their only out left would be trading Donovan. I still
think they have a decent young talent though. I mean, I think they're semi-deep. I think Cleveland's semi-deep.
Who's the decent young talent outside of Mobley and Garland who they're trading and
Tyson, or is he older than I think?
He's a second year player in the league.
Right.
He's no spring chicken he wasn't of a rookie, but
Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, Craig Porter Jr. Like those guys are depth pieces.
Those Craig.
I'm not. I didn't say young talent. I just said depth.
You did.
Oh, sorry. Okay, my bad. Okay, but Jalen Tyson's young talent, and he's been very good.
Yes, the 20th overall pick has been solid, but like If a team,
I
just
mean,
had
that's
Jaime
not
Jaquez-
you say
if
that
they
like
had-
it's expected.
But if a team just had Jaime
picks off
Jaquez
that bust.
Jr., we wouldn't be like, oh, they have a great young core. We'd be like, oh, Jaime Jaquez Jr. is solid. Like that's not, like I think they'd be all right. They'd have Donovan.
I'm just saying depth. Depth is there.
The team would be nasty. The starters would be nasty. I just can't imagine them actually winning with that build of a team. Like, so if they're trading Mobley and Garland, and who else makes the salary work? Mobley and who for Giannis? Like, it's like almost like silly season to me. Like, what salary needs to?
Oh,
go
I
in
mean,
there?
we've been silly. Let me bring it up.
What salary needs to, it's like too much. Is it someone like Merrill? Because then you're left with
I mean,
Tyson
let's
starting.
it's not far. Mobley's making 46, dude.
You need Strus starting and Tyson off the bench, maybe.
It's only an $8 million difference, Mobley and Giannis.
So Merrill would cover that. Who else?
Get Chris Finch to give some millions over and that happen.
I think Merrill would cover it. Or Lonzo would cover it. If that's
dude, they just completely forgot they picked up.
They want Lonzo traded so bad, Cleveland. It has not worked.
So if they do Mobley and Lonzo, and then it's like, hey, you have to take Lonzo because you're getting Mobley. Maybe there's something. So then it would be Harden, Donovan, Strus, Giannis, Allen, and then off the bench they would have Schroeder.
But
Keon
Milwaukee's
Ellis.
also talked like they'd be willing to give up Gary Trent or Kuzma in a deal too, if you wanted to.
No one wants Kyle Kuzma.
Thank you. I am a Kyle Kuzma hater as well.
What do you mean? They'd be willing to give up Kyle Kuzma. Like, yeah, we know. They want to punish teams by making them take Kyle Kuzma. This is not.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was any Kyle Kuzma.
Oh, maybe you
guys out there anymore.
Not for $30 million a year. There's not. So it's all about, it's all situational, man.
22.
So it's like
22.
Is his deal? How many years are left?
1 after this year.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you meant expiring this year.
No, it's not expiring. No.
You have a chunk left. It's not exactly the most appealing. But of course, in the offseason, it'll be fine as expiring salary for something. I just, you kind of have to eat that. You have to eat a playoff run of being like, hey, everyone knows.
I mean, shit, if you're sending out Max Strus too.
I think you kind of need Strus in this situation. I think
like that you like Strus. I
you
still
need
like
Strus in the starting lineup. Off the bench, you have Schroeder and Ellis, and you have, they're going to play Wade, and they're going to play Bryant as the backup 5 in this situation. Like they're going to have lineups where they put Giannis at the 5 probably is the pivot there. But yeah, all in all, I don't think.
Hopefully not gotten a deal on the show. I mean, we've been here long enough where a deal should have been done by now.
We got a lot to react to, my man.
I was waiting for some fireworks here.
I don't think Cleveland ends up giving up Mobley in this situation, so I just don't think it's worth exploring. But in a world where they're also trading Garland for Harden and where they give up Lonzo, like, all right, I get what you're saying, Zach. I no longer think it's so bad. I just
thank you, but again, that wasn't me.
I just think it's kind of bad. So
anyway, horse.
So we have the Simons Vucevic swap pretty much leaving Boston with some room, some flexibility going forward. Again, I like it in the sense that they better have a plan for that flexibility. And if they do, then this all works out. But I don't know. Something to me is off about trading Drew Holiday for Anthony Simons and being like, we're going to rehab Simons' value and get like at least 1 first-round pick out of him, and then salary dumping him for someone whose biggest asset is that their deal expires soon, or it gets smaller soon, rather. I just, like their current deal expires and then their next deal gets much smaller. That being like the big benefit of Vooch, the return in the Simons deal That's underwhelming and that's uninspiring.
You brought this
with that
up. We're
said-
here. Tell me how those guards are all going to fit in Chicago. That's what I'm worried
Oh,
about.
man.
Anthony
So they-
Simons, Giddey.
They're gonna trade, so Giddey's like the point guard / small forward. Like he's easy to make guys fit with, but Simons, Giddey, is Simons, Buzelis, Giddey is fun. I do wonder about Io and Kobe, what they have planned. How interested are the Dallas Mavericks in moving Najee Marshall? Could the Bulls turn one of Kobe or Io DeSumnu into Najee Marshall? That would make me much more interested in the Bulls than I am right now. But that said, I think they have to move one or both of Io or Kobe, especially with Ivy and Simons coming
Yeah,
in
that's
here
what
at
I
the
was about to say.
deadline.
Ivy, too. Like,
So,
Ivy's going to
they've
be
got
put in the
to
burner.
move one or two. They've got to move one or two of Io or Kobe. The Wolves didn't take Kobe, but the Bulls made that deal anyway. So they're clearly fine with plans of moving these guys. Before we wrap up, any thoughts? Oh, actually, we'll take a quick question.
Oh, we got a
do y'all
question?
think Giannis will be traded tonight? As a Bucks fan, I think it's happening. I think he's headed to Minnesota. You're getting Zach excited. I don't think Giannis will be traded tonight. I just don't think so. I just don't. I think the Bucks, to sum it up, I think the Bucks know the trade offers will be different in the offseason. I think they are happy about the ways in which they'll be different. And what I mean by that is, like, the Knicks, for example, can no longer trade Mitchell Robinson once we get to the offseason. His contract will have expired. They can give up more draft capital. I think the Bucks are like, cool. So I think the Bucks are fine with teams having fewer players available to trade, especially if that forces opposing teams to trade better players because the salary has to match or something. So, like, right now, you are going to, so interesting point here from Dirty Dancer. It says you can't get this much less for Giannis than Memphis got for JJJ. Yeah, I mean, you know, you don't want to make moves like so comparatively like that, but also I just think like you're going to get several first round picks and blue chip talent for Giannis if you just wait until the offseason. Right now, it's kind of being presented as you have to pick, right? Shams on SportsCenter last night says the Miami Heat are offering a mix of players and picks. The Warriors are offering a lot of picks. The Timberwolves are offering a lot of players. That said, the Heat being in the middle, that to me sounds like Khalil Ware and some draft picks, if I had to guess. I don't think any of those offers are so great. And I don't think the Knicks' best offer of Karl Anthony Towns and the little bit of draft capital they can trade, Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride is really good. He's really good. But can you get him and Towns and more draft capital in the offseason? Yeah. So the Bucks should just hold out for that. I think the Bucks should hold out. And at the very least, the Bucks should hold out until Thursday when the trade deadline is actually happening. So Packers GOAT Jay, I will say no trade tonight. And I'll KP guarantee you that one because it behooves Milwaukee to wait at least until tomorrow. I mean, at least until tomorrow.
Maybe 2 a.m. this morning, tomorrow morning.
So
3 a.m.
We'll
That's how these things go, right?
I don't think you can trade it at all until the summer for what it's worth. I just don't see that the.
I think Giannis wants out. I think.
That's great.
He'll get out.
He's
by
under
the summer.
contract, and the Bucks don't have to just trade him to wherever, you know. Like if the return is not what they want, they can hold on to him for forever, for as long as his contract is still good. So if the offers,
I like when teams take the upper hand, but
if the offers come July are better than the offers that they'll get today, tomorrow, and Thursday, I think that's what they'll do, and they'll wait until the summer to do that.
Yeah, I think they wait. I think they wait. We have a question from Chubbs1889. Any moves Knicks are able to make before the deadline? I like their core, but need to move Yabusele. I know his contract is a pain to move. So yeah, I think it's the same thing with the Knicks where, when it comes to Giannis Antetokounmpo, they couldn't even offer officially Mikal Bridges until February 1st. I'm sure they were discussing him as part of potential packages before then, but none of those deals could actually get done until February 1st. So for it to now be the 3rd, for the deadline to be on the 5th, I think you're now sitting in a situation where, the Knicks could actually make a move. I don't think they'll do anything. I think this is like the Timberwolves. I don't think they're going to do anything that isn't extremely marginal and kind of off to the side until they are sure of what's happening with Giannis. I could see this going as far as to play out like, 4:30 or no, 3 p.m. is the deadline, right? Like 2:30 p.m. The Knicks are just finding out that no one's getting Giannis. So then they call up San Antonio or Minnesota or wherever they're sending Jordan Clarkson, Yabusele, New Orleans or whatever, right? And all of a sudden they're like, okay, we'll make you the best offer that we've made you so far. Like the Knicks so far have offered Yabusele and Pacom Dadie for Jose Alvarado. They have offered Yabusele and Pacom Dadie for Jeremy Sohan. I think that they will be willing to add draft capital to Yabusele and Dadie in the form of 1 or 2 second-round picks, maybe even just 1, and offer that as a sweetener. But I don't think they're going to be willing to do that right now when the deadline isn't until Thursday. So a big theme of this is the deadline's on Thursday. We do kind of got to wait a little bit because it behooves. Word of the day. Theme of the day, the deadline's on Thursday. Word of the day, behoove. It behooves them to wait. And yeah, we have some notes on the Knicks from Dirty Dancer, which relate to them potentially moving Jordan Clarkson or Gershon Yabusele. Those are the 2 vets that I think are pretty clearly looking for larger opportunities elsewhere. Yabusele willing to look internationally. Dirty Dancer referencing the report that I think it's Maccabi Tel Aviv is like really interested in Gershon Yabusele. And then he also mentioned that Yabu's willing to be bought out of that player option in the second year. So that is really interesting leverage from him. If that's how that works, even if he can be like, hey, I'll opt in, but then I'll accept less than whatever of the buyout. Like that's interesting. That's allowed. That's really interesting, right? Because that's like weaponizing the player option, but also being like, I'm taking a paycheck and getting out of here. So we'll see. If I had to guess what the Knicks do before the deadline, I would say that they trade Yabusele and Dadie and 1 second-round pick for Jeremy Sohan and nothing. And then they trade Jordan Clarkson and 1 second-round pick for like someone else and a second-round pick back. Like, so it's like a second-round pick swap pretty much where the Knicks like lose a little bit, but also get someone that can help them. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be like a dark horse prediction would be if no one offers anything good for Ayo Dosunmu, the Wolves decide that they are not going to offer something legit, and the Bulls are, or the Bulls are like, we're not waiting for the Wolves to not get Giannis to trade him. We just want to trade him right now, which I doubt happens. But in some world where that happens, maybe I could see Yabu and Dadie going for Ayo Dosunmu, or that would be with draft capital, obviously, or maybe something like Yabu and Tyler Kolek for Ayo Dosunmu, but the Knicks only then in that situation would give up like 1 second-round pick. So maybe something like that. Other than that, who knows? We'll be here to talk about it, though. New York, clearly, the thing with this deadline stuff, and I'll say this as like the the inside perspective is like these teams right now, like everyone's like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? Like the answer is we don't know. If people knew something, they'd report it. Like we don't know. We have no idea. And a lot of that is because a lot of this hinges on Giannis, and Giannis hinges on what does Giannis decide he wants? How does that affect teams' offers? And what do the Bucks decide they want? That is 3 variables. So we're waiting. All of this hinges on 3 variables. That's way too much going on. That's why you have people putting out reports literally every single day, a whole new report about, oh, it could be this or that. Oh, it could be this or that. Reporters are doing an admirable job right now of piecing things together and finding and following trails and picking up pieces and connecting dots. But it's not always going to be perfect. And sometimes you just need some stuff to go down like we got today with all the trades. There was no buzz out of Memphis that they were moving JJJ.
Yeah.
No one. There was nobody being like, oh, I think they're about to move JJJ. Kenny Beecham tweeted 8 minutes before the Bulls trade broke. Sources tell me they're trading Vucevic to Boston. 8 minutes later, the trade broke. The Grizzlies are moving like the mystery men. So it's like, I think, sometimes some stuff just has to happen. Sometimes the insiders aren't going to guess everything, especially with how many insiders right now are fine being mouthpieces for teams and agents. On that happy note, Andrew Chelney from SiriusXM NBA Radio, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure. I hope you had a fun time. Zach, thanks as always. And Al, our third co-host, who had to go about 45 minutes-ish ago. But we carried on without him nonetheless. Thank you to Al, and Zach, thank you to you. Everyone who tuned in, thanks for tuning in. You should subscribe to the All Things NBA from A to Z podcast. You can also go check out Andrew and all his coverage of NBA and NHL worlds over. It's his last name and then his first name on Twitter. Or you could just like Google him. It'll come up. I don't think there's another one unless you have like an evil twin who also shares your name. All right, so not yet. In that case, Al is at Analytics Capper. Zach is at Zach Noble. I'm at Chris Persianen. And Andrew is at Chelney Andrew because he's difficult. And so on that note, I thank you all for joining us. I thank you all for commenting, for tuning in, or if you just happen to throw us on in the car on the drive home or whatever it was, no ad breaks here. So better than radio. We'll catch you guys. Thanks so much. And stay tuned. We'll have you covered for the rest of this and throughout this and after this seemingly building up to be crazy 2026 NBA trade deadline.